Do you ever feel like your family tree is just, well, a tangled web of names and dates? Well, you're not alone. Maintaining an organized and accurate family tree is crucial, yet it can feel like a daunting task at times. But don't worry, because today we'll break down exactly why family tree maintenance matters and give you some actionable steps to keep your research precise and manageable. Hey there, I'm Lisa Lisson. I am a genealogy expert with 15 years of experience helping others find their ancestors. On this YouTube channel, I share my best strategies, tools, and tips for uncovering your family history, growing a healthy family tree, and not being overwhelmed in the process. So if that sounds like your cup of tea, you are in the right place. Now, whether your family tree is online or offline, maintaining your family tree is not just about keeping things tidy, it's also about things like ensuring accuracy and reliability. When you keep your family tree updated, it helps ensure that your research is accurate and reliable. Regular maintenance allows you to find and correct any mistakes and verify the information that you do have. And that's crucial for building a solid foundation for your future research. Maintaining a healthy family tree also helps avoid the propagation of errors. That up-to-date family tree prevents the spread of errors to other researchers who may be relying on your data. So when you address any inaccuracies or errors in your family tree promptly, you help avoid confusion that could arise from flawed information, and you keep it from being added to somebody else's tree. Also, regularly updating your family tree and keeping it healthy can lead to new discoveries. As you incorporate your recent findings and then refine that existing information that you already have in your family tree, you may uncover additional connections that you might have overlooked, new relatives, or previously overlooked details. Also, by keeping a healthy and maintaining a healthy family tree, the algorithms at these genealogy databases like Ancestry.com, MyHeritage, Family Search, Find My Past, all of these databases can then more accurately give you better hints in suggestion, which could further your research as well. And of course, a well-maintained and healthy family tree is a fabulous resource for future generations. When we keep our research organized and accurate, we can ensure that our family history and that family tree is preserved and accessible for those future generations of genealogy researchers. So I'm curious, do you regularly perform family tree maintenance on your own family tree? Be sure to hit that like button and let me know. So you know that you should maintain that family tree. You know that you need to periodically perform maintenance and make sure everything's in good shape on your family tree. But, well, how do you actually go about doing it? Or what should you actually include in that family tree maintenance? I'm going to share with you some steps that you can use when it comes to taking care of that family tree, of maintaining that family tree for yourself and for the future. Now, you may be wondering exactly what is involved when I'm talking about family tree maintenance, and we are absolutely going to talk about that here. But before I do that, I do want to take just a moment and talk about where you actually keep your family tree. Many of you do maintain a family tree at probably one of the major genealogy databases, such as Ancestry.com, MyHeritage, Find My Past, Family Search. And there are some differences within those particular trees, certainly. Now, others may use a family tree software where you keep that main tree on your computer, on your desktop, your laptop, using a program such as a Family Tree Maker or say a Roots Magic, something of that nature. But regardless of where you keep your main family tree maintenance is important. And you will need to explore the tools that your specific program uses for these tree maintenance steps. And if you have any doubt and you're not really sure how to fix something, go to their help pages. So each of the databases, each of the software type things, they all have help pages, and you can actually to show you how to maybe fix an error once you have found it. Okay, so what should we do when we need to perform maintenance on our family tree? All right, determine, the health of that family tree. What do we need to do on a routine basis? Now, one of the first things that you want to do when it comes to family tree maintenance is to review and verify the information that you already have in that family tree. This allows you to maintain a high quality and a healthy family tree. So what this means is taking a look at the individuals in your family tree, looking at the names, looking at the dates, looking at the locations. Are they complete? Are they accurate? As you go through those individuals, do you see something you're like, oh, I forgot. I don't have a complete birth date, and I forgot to finish that piece of the research. Go ahead and make a note when you see that. Go ahead. If it's something you know that was just a typo, then you can fix. But if it's something that you're like, that's going to need a little bit more research, go ahead and write it down so that you have it on your genealogy to-do list and you don't lose that in the future. Another thing you want to do as you're going through that initial looking at each of the individuals is to standardize your dates and place names. Consistency in how you write the dates, consistency in how you document place names is important. It is not going to make or break your family tree, but when you consistently use the same format for putting in dates as well as for putting in locations, it is going to help you in the future. It makes the tree a little easier to read when you're looking for something, or if you share that tree with somebody. It is also helpful for when you are doing a search within your own tree to get a better, more accurate result for what you're looking for. So while you're in there working on that family tree, go ahead and start standardizing those dates and place names. And while you're in there checking out those individuals and making sure that they are accurate, if you have information that you have not yet added to your family tree, maybe you've just come back from a research trip and you have some great new information you want to add to your tree, new records, go ahead and do it. This is the time to go ahead and add that to your family tree. And once you've kind of given it that cursory, that once over, that looked at all those individuals, you may have noticed some things that are going to require a little bit more work on that family tree. You may have noticed that you have duplicates in your family tree. That's actually easier to do than you would think, to have an individual in there listed more than once. You may find some real inconsistencies that are going to be troublesome to your family tree. For instance, you may discover that you have a child that was born before a parent. Obviously, that's an error. Obviously, it's going to need some work. You may need to create a little research plan around that in order to resolve that issue. It may have just been a typo on a date. It could have been very easily just a typo that you could easily correct. But sometimes those are not as easy to find as you might think. And so, especially if you have a large family tree. And so we want to use some of the tools that are available to us on the platforms where we have our family tree. So for instance, MyHeritage has a feature called Consistency Checker, and it scans the family tree and it sends me an email and it says, by the way, I think, we have found X number of inconsistencies. Oftentimes it's, a child being born to, siblings too close together, or maybe it's finding duplicates. We think we found two individuals. We think they are the same person. Why don't you take a look at that and see if you can resolve that? So those are the kinds of tools that you can find. Ancestry also has them. I think with Ancestry, you need the Pro Tools level subscription to access that. Consistency Checker is included in the MyHeritage subscription. But make sure you're using your tools for this. If you're using an genealogy software, family tree software that is offline, so it's like a Family Tree Maker, a Roots Magic, check for their tools to see what tools they use to help you identify those perhaps possible duplicates in your family tree, as well as inconsistencies that are going to need to be addressed. Now, it is important to make sure that you are addressing those duplicates, that you are addressing any of those inconsistencies, much because of what we were talking about earlier. When you have a healthy family tree, then it does help the algorithms. If you're using those online databases, genealogy databases, it helps the algorithms provide you with better hints and clues for your genealogy research. It also prevents others from passing along errors that they've picked up that have been in your family tree. So it is an important thing that we go ahead and make sure that not only are we always going after that next generation back, and keep going back and back in time, is that we are making sure that we have really good, accurate information for each individual on that tree. Now, for those of you with large trees, and if you have never done any family tree maintenance, it's going to be overwhelming at first. So what I would suggest is just maybe focus on one family line at a time, set a timer so that you can do this in a timely manner, and just do it a little bit at a time. It may take you some time to get through the whole tree. That's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But just if you can do it in a systematic approach, it's going to be a little bit better for you, and I think less overwhelming for you. And then going forward, it's going to be pretty simple. If you're doing this on a regular basis, you can do these checks and maintenance pretty quickly. Now, once you have reviewed and you have refined that family tree and you've gotten the best shape that you can possibly get it in for your current state of research, it's time to, decide what to focus on for the next part of your research project. So you probably have identified some things that you realize, I think I need to do a little bit more. It's time to decide what you're going to focus on in your next bit of research. Things like filling in gaps that you may have identified for individuals in that family tree. You have likely identified ancestors that you need to find some more information on? Do you want to fill out their story a little bit more? Absolutely, put them on your list and create a research plan to go forward with that. You may find that you want to focus on individuals that, well, hey, didn't have quite as much information as you thought you might have had. Maybe you're missing that marriage record. Maybe you're missing that death date or that place of burial. Then put that on your genealogy research list to do so that you can go after those records the next time you sit down to research. Another thing you might want to do once you have finished kind of getting your tree in the best shape that it could possibly be in is you may have identified another family line that you want to pursue. You may have looked at it and thought, hey, I think I'm really interested, ready to fill this tree out a little bit more and go beyond my immediate family. Maybe you thought you recognize you've got some really good, interesting stories. So you'd like to learn and fill out maybe about some of the siblings, the cousins, those collateral lines that are out there. Absolutely, if that is something that you identify that you want to research, go for it. That's the best thing about doing this family tree maintenance is you get your tree in good shape, but you also can be inspired to research that next project. Something may pop up and you're like, wow, I forgot. I've wanted to look at this for a while now, or this is really interesting to me. I'd like to learn a little bit more about this side of the family. Absolutely, guys. Write it down, make a plan, and head off and start researching for it. Now, before you head off and do that next research project, there is one final thing that you need to do, and that is back up your family tree. Now, it is crucial that you back up your genealogy research. We do not want to lose all this hard work that we have put into researching our ancestors and creating that family tree. So part of your family tree maintenance absolutely has to be backing it up. It does not matter whether you have an online family tree at one of the major databases or whether your family tree is solely in family tree software on your laptop. It needs to be backed up. The way you do that is you download what is called a GEDCOM file. You don't really need to remember that piece of it. There's going to be an export file. There's going to be an export button in the software, on the platform, and you are going to download that file. Now, you want to save it in multiple places, okay? So I usually have a copy on my main computer at home, but what would happen if my computer died? That happened recently. All right, so I also save a copy on an external hard drive. So this is what mine looks like. I will put it a link to it in the description below, but that's the one that I use. Then I also will save it and back it up into cloud storage. Now that could be a Dropbox, it could be like a Google Drive type thing. But some type of cloud storage. So I usually have it in 3 different places because I want to make sure it is not going anywhere. So maintaining that family tree, performing family tree maintenance, kind of just like you would prune a tree, that you have to take care of the tree in your front yard, that you need to feed it and nurture it and make sure it's in good shape. We've got to do the same thing with our family tree, with our ancestors. It does require dedication, it requires some attention to detail, but it will ensure that your family history research is accurate, that it's reliable, and that it is valuable to future generations of researchers. If your genealogy research is stuck, learn why more records may not be what you actually need in this video on your screen now.